Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror media. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at the 5 music videos released by Ice Nine Kills from their 2018 album, The Silver Scream. Ice Nine Kills is a band led by Spencer Charnas, who started it as a high schooler in 2000. After some ska punk years, they veered towards metal, then added more theatricality and gimmicks. It began with their first album under Fearless Records, 2015's Every Trick in the Book, where each song was based on a novel like Dracula or Animal Farm. And when I say they got gimmicky, I don't mean it in a negative way. Sometimes you need a gimmick to get people to check out your work. A gimmick like, you know, counting kills. Their 2018 follow-up, The Silver Scream, put Ice Nine Kills on another level, both thematically and in popularity, since it became their best-selling album at the time. Each of its 13 songs is about a different horror movie, from The Shining to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Since then, Ice Nine Kills has become a welcome part of the horror world. Dead Meat fans encouraged us to interview Spencer on the podcast, and ever since then, we've been good friends with him and his partner Nadia. Inc. released 5 music videos of songs from the album, with an overarching plotline involving Spencer seeing a therapist. What is this, The Sopranos? The songs reference horror hits like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and It, and the videos see Spencer reenacting these films, mostly as deranged nightmares. The Silver Scream plays out like fan fiction of sorts, but every song and video is made with love. Ice Nine Kills isn't just trying to tap into a pre-made fan base using the horror genre. Spencer is a lifelong fan who finally gets to let his horror freak flag fly proudly, all while introducing his own fan base and fellow band members to the genre.
I never really met anyone in my friend groups that loved horror. I was always the one that kind of like beat it over their head, like, you guys gotta watch this. And whether they liked it or not, I just made them watch it. And that's kind of just been my story for the rest of my life.
His interest in horror had been present in his work since at least their second album in 2010, with the song Buildings Burn, People Die, named after a quote from The Crow.
Buildings burn, people die, but real love is forever.
He's always worn his fandom on his sleeve, and now his love of horror is part of his career. Trust me, I can respect that.
Yes, I'm sure you can. Mr. Janice, you've been coming to this office for 6 years telling me about these kill counts, as you call them, and we've been making no progress towards your delusions of YouTube fame.
Actually, I'm glad you interrupted me, because I forgot to talk about today's sponsor, Fume.
You know you are paying for this appointment, right?
Fume is a new approach to breaking bad habits, but unlike the old approaches that involve chemicals, vapors, and electronics, Fume is completely natural, using only flavored air. Tell me, Doc, are there any bad habits you've been trying to break?
Well, not that it's any of your business, but I have been trying to drink less, though I am a bit of a drink girly and I do like having something fun to sip on.
And there's nothing wrong with wanting a fun little flavor throughout your day, but now you can get it in a much more controlled way. Plus, if you're anything like me,
I pray that I'm not.
You can be a bit of a fidgeter when you're stressed, but the Fume is also great to fidget with. Seriously, I was expecting to just keep this in my pocket when I wasn't using it, but it feels good in your hand, and with movable parts and magnets, it's a great little fidget toy.
Yes, well, I suppose I'll look into this Fume device after we're done discussing your—
Great! Switching to Fume is easy, and with 100,000 customers and thousands of success stories, that can be you too. You can try the Journey Pack for 10% off by going to tryfume.com/deadmeat10, or scanning the QR code and using code DEADMEAT10 to get 10% off. Where was I? Oh, yeah, the kill count.
I really think we should discuss your—
How many kills can you fit into a series of music videos? You might be surprised. Let's get to them. The series begins with a music video for The American Nightmare, lead single off the album, no relation to Cody Rhodes. Spencer Charnas, so-called burgeoning rock star, is seeing a new therapist.
I call you Spencer.
Sure, everyone calls me Spencer.
Excellent.
Dr. Ian Black here is an insecure psychologist, which is a lot less fun to deal with than a frontier psychiatrist. Seriously though, dude's a dick.
Karen, you have a beautiful mouth. Pick up a telephone and let's see if we can make it do something useful, shall we?
He's hoping he can ride Spencer's mental problems straight to the bank and get published like his rival colleagues have. Spencer's been having disturbing nightmares, and the first one he relays is about a girl being hunted by a murderous dream demon. The girl is played by Jessa Smith Campbell, whose double casting as Black's receptionist Karen is lampshaded.
She actually looks very similar to your receptionist.
She's the only one in town who knows the dead teenager epidemic isn't self-inflicted. I repeat, is not self-inflicted. You hear me, YouTube? Instead, these teens are being murdered by a bastard of Elm Street. The deaths upset her, so she tries to sleep it off, only for the dream demon to pop up and suck her through his bed hole. It's a nod to Glen's fate in A Nightmare on Elm Street, only without the upside down room and gallons of blood. She strikes out attacking the demon, who is of course Spencer himself in Freddy Krueger makeup. Spency Krueger not only interrupts her sleep, he's invading her TV time too. He chases her up and down a dark street in the suburbs, but she wakes up IRL before the knockoff can knock off this final girl. She realizes she can pull him into her world, bitch, and springs a plan to beat him down with a baseball bat. But Spencer says this is the part of the dream where he always wakes up, robbing us of a conclusion to this narrative. Dr. Black gets Spencer to agree to months of expensive therapy and tells him to get some drugs from his colleague Dr. Nancy Stonebridge, a psychiatrist. She's played by Nadia Teichman, Spencer's real-life partner and a gregarious gem of a human being. Based on his violent dream, Dr. Black thinks Spencer is a budding psychopathic murderer. It's the perfect answer to his career slump, as he plans to write about Spencer and become rich and famous. Obviously, kill counts are narrative-driven, but these are music videos, so I want to comment on the songs. Even though, and I must stress this, I am not a music critic. I've always been open to metal, although it was usually of the new variety, a la System of a Down, one of my favorite bands. Still, in college, I drove to Cleveland to see Symphony X, so the theatrical metal of Ice Nine Kills instantly appealed to me. Not to dig a hole with metal fans, but I think their music is considered metalcore, an apparently divisive subgenre that's a crossover between heavy metal and hardcore punk. Of course, everyone has their own idea of what that means exactly, or which bands that includes. I don't really care what you call this music, because I like it either way. Spencer's clean vocals are wonderful to listen to, especially during the enjoyably catchy chorus.
On the American nightmare with American dreams of killing the bodies while you kill shame.
They're exceptionally complemented by the screams and growls of Justin DeBleek, aka JD, vocalist and lead guitarist for the band from 2009 to 2019. It's beautiful when JD and Spencer are screaming and growling in unison. Also, as a wannabe drummer, I really like Patrick Galanti's little tom run here. The lyrics are a lot of fun for horror fans, with kill count-like wordplay, and narratives about these horror characters. It's an excellent execution of horror in the metal style, combining two fan bases that have a lot of overlap. I often think of them as belonging to a Venn diagram along with pro wrestling. Where do you fall? Because I'm right here in the middle. The next video begins with a newscaster spoiling my fun, so I'ma blur out his kill count in lower third. He's talking about murders at a summer camp, meaning we in the Jason era of the Silver Scream. Hell, it starts with a fireside acoustic session, just like when they were rowing the boat ashore in the opening of the original Friday the 13th. Appropriately, this video for Thank God It's Friday was released on Friday, July 13th in 2018. This is another nightmare as described by Spencer, who's been on tour in Texas, the same place those reported campground murders took place. His dream casts him, Nadia, receptionist Karen, and his bandmates as camp counselors who are about to get keyed for doing drugs and having sex. First to go is bassist Justin Morrow while he's taking a whiz. Jason slashes him with his machete and really revels in the blood splatter. Morrow was the bassist in Ice Nine Kills for 10 years, from 2009 to 2019. After Silver Scream's release, he left the band amicably to join Motionless in White, who have the same producer as Ink, Drew Folk. This was the same time JD left the band to focus on writing, producing, and mixing music. He reunited with Justin with his work on Motionless in White's albums Disguise and Scoring the End of the World. Drummer Patrick Galanti sneaks off with a counselor played by Jessa Smith Campbell, meaning there are Jack and Marcy of this imagining. Oh, I guess that makes Justin Ned. That sucks. Sorry, Justin. Jason chops down the imitation bacon, dropping Galanti to the ground like a sick bee. After a short chase, he catches up to and kills Karen the reception counselor with a stomach stab. Camp counselors Spencer and Nadia do a joint final girl circuit where they discover JD's body next to Campbell's in some deep shadows. Definitely missed it in my first watch through. Our heroes escape on a boat, leaving a very disappointed Jason behind. Friggin' after I come all the way out here with my axe. Not very nice of them. You know Jason's terrified of water. Oh, just kidding! This video ends the same way the first 3 Fridays do, with a jump scare. And I'll go ahead and put Dream, Spencer, and Nadia on the count. Not that I can double check that number with the newscasters. For some reason he had 7, even though I only counted 6. There are only 6 people at that campsite, guy. Where'd the extra body come from? Hope that mofo writes better than he counts, since it's a character named Roy Merkin, who's also the credited author of the novelization of these music videos. All 5 videos were directed by Daniel Hurahan, who had to wade into the lake and find their one and only hockey mask when it fell off during a take of the canoe jump scare. These were low-budget productions, at least at first, but thankfully they got some free set deck at their shooting location, the abandoned Camp Winnetoska in Ashland, Massachusetts. Though it had closed 3 years earlier in 2015, there were still children's finger paintings left behind.
We definitely kind of lucked out with some really great production value for little cost in terms of the filming of the story.
The first 2 videos were filmed within a week and came out while Ice Nine Kills was doing Warped Tour. Spencer says he noticed an impact right away.
Kids already knew the words, and the video had just come out a couple of days before.
As far as my inexpert opinion about the song goes, I like it. The lyrics frame Jason as the mama's boy he is, with Pamela Voorhees getting to say the track title.
It's Friday.
They also make sure to mention the thing that bothers Jason the most. I love how the chorus is introduced as a campfire tune before it's sung for the rest of the song. My favorite part of the song might be the shout out to my man Crazy Ralph. And of course, no Friday song would be complete without a Kiki Ma Ma Ma. Finally, the song features an orchestral outro. It's sappy and extensive, a perfect nod to Harry Manfredini's score preceding the Swamp Boy Jason jump scare. With such a downer ending to his dream, Dr. Black picks and prods at Spencer's past. Spencer is evasive and leaves for his next show in LA, but not before spying on his quack and listening to him over a mic he planted in his office. Dr. Black turns this into spy versus spy, but he's so fucking bad at it. Makes me mad. He follows Spencer to Jocko's Bar and Kitchen in Waltham, Massachusetts. It's hard to hear over the walla, but the song playing there is actually She's the Same, the first song Ice Nine ever wrote back in 2000 or 2001. It's definitely a different sounding band.
I don't know if I can trust her, but I guess she's all I got.
Spencer winds up drugging the doc's drink at the bar, and when Dr. Black chugs it, we blurrily transition into the song. A Grave Mistake is inspired by The Crow, a movie I've sadly never talked about on this channel. For the record, it rules, even though it has an awful fake Detroit. Like that movie, this song's video starts with 2 kills done by criminals. They murder Nadia's and Spencer's characters in black and white. Spencer returns from the grave and clowns out in the mirror until he's looking like Sting. He intercepts an alleyway mugging and kicks some ass while a drugged out Dr. Black watches from his ass. One guy pulls out a blade, but that only gets him killed via knife stabbing. His bud gets stomped to death, I'm pretty sure, judging by the red screen there. By the time Dr. Black awakens from the drugs, there's no evidence of Spencer's face-painted ass kicking. The news implies he wound up hanging the muggerfuckers from streetlights. But go ahead and keep stalking this likely killer guy. I'm sure that'll end great for you. A Grave Mistake might have the most radio-friendly mass appeal sound, but that doesn't mean I don't like it. I love the acoustic build right off the bat, especially with Spencer singing.
But I heard that you reap what you sow, so around and around we go.
It never gets super hard and there's no screaming, but sometimes I can go for more of a rock sound, whatever.
With weathered wings and broken bones, afraid for the fallen flies the crow.
They filmed this video after they returned from Warped Tour when it was clear they were onto something. The band performance was filmed atop a building in the theater district side of Boston's Chinatown, although the stock footage shown is of Baltimore, I guess because that's what was available. And eagle-eyed viewers may note that it's not actually Spencer doing those kicks in the alleyway fight scene. It's his stunt double, Matt Healy.
That's not me.
But it's also not that Matt Healy, so don't go hitting up Tay-Tay with questions. For some reason, Spencer and Dr. Black keep up this ruse for another session. The doc pokes at his past, so Spencer describes a nightmare he has where he's a child, ushering in the video for Stabbing in the Dark. In it, kid Spencer's babysitting sister and her friends get stalked by a shadow man. Spencer plays the shadow man, naturally, a version of Michael Myers, who has the blackest eyes.
The devil's eyes!
Fuck yeah, dude! The Shape kicks things off by killing a prison guard in a gruesome way, tearing out his devil's eyes. Yeah, get gross with it! That prison guard is played by Ricky Dean Logan, who played Carlos in Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare. Logan would work with Spencer again in the videos for Silver Scream 2: Welcome to Horrorwood, which also features various horror legends and a couple of very lucky horror YouTubers. Clad in an Ice Nine Michael Myers mask, the Shape stalks young Spencer and his sister played by Nadia. She has a bunch of friends over who are all horned up, so this killer's gotta teach teach them a phallic lesson. The record label was hesitant to let them use a Michael Myers mask, but Spencer bluffed his way into getting permission. He said it was okay because he changed the mask by 20%, a figure he based off what K&B did with the Fun World mask and Scream.
So they had K&B create this 20% tweak. I remember those words stuck with me. So like, I was like, okay, well, K&B said all you need is a 20% tweak.
The first to be killed is drummer Patrick Galanti, who gets his throat slit by the Shape from the shadows. After him, 2 girls are killed, one of them played by Jessa Smith Campbell again after not appearing in the 3rd video. Hope she enjoyed her break. A police report breakdown in the song corresponds with a cop showing up, who also joins the count with a stab to the back. Justin Morrow's still alive, but not for long after tripping on nothing. That allows the Shapist to murder the bassist yet again. Nadia fights back against the Shape, and the 2 of them get into quite the choky match. She comes out on top and ultimately kills the killer. At least I think she does. As she's recovering though, baby Spencer shows up and stabs Nadia to death with a kitchen knife, the little Charles Lee Ray. That killer kid's played by Cameron Taft, the son of Dr. Black's actor, Paul Taft. In the present, Black researches the dream and sees it really happened back in 1994. It also verifies my kill count of 7 for this video. So, you know, thank you for that. Stabbing in the Dark has always been one of my favorite songs on the album. There's just so much I like about it. Right away, I dig the doubling of Spencer's singing with very subtle low vocals.
Oh, an evil evolution.
Then during the build, there's a buzzing clock sound when the lyrics talk about time, but it's mixed perfectly and fades out before it gets overpowering.
When the hands of fate from the midnight hour.
The chorus is just as catchy as A Grave Mistakes.
Where the certainty of safety feels like stabbing in the dark.
But the rest of the song goes way harder, which I love.
Day after day, night after night.
Everyone's given me a lot to listen to, including Galanti with those solid kicks. For our fandom familiarity, we get the classic Halloween theme on guitar, and a classic Halloween quote being screamed.
You can't kill the boogeyman.
You can't kill the boogeyman.
The wooden pumpkin structure the band plays in front of here is at Haunted Overload in Lee, New Hampshire. You can see more of that place in a video by our friends over at Grim Life Collective. Spencer's been touring in his cute little sleeveless Freddy sweater, but he keeps showing up late with bloody body parts. JD tries to talk to him about it, but soon he and Justin wind up missing, according to a news notification seen by Dr. Black.
Now he's knocking off the band. I'm going to be a bloody millionaire.
By the time they made this video, Justin and JD had left the band, so this off-screen double death was a way of writing them out of the narrative. Dr. Black gets his head bagged and comes to in a minecart ride. Spencer is also chained up here, as is Dr. Gladstone behind them. Spencer says he didn't do any of this, then gets whisked around to the other side of the wall. Dr. Black's wild ride begins as It Is the End is performed by Pennywise the Clown and his backing band of Georgies. Oh, with a Captain Spaulding horn section too! That's saxophonist Peter J.R. Wasilewski and trombonist Buddy Schaub from Less Than Jake. Fitting, given Ice Nine Kills' start as a ska punk band. This marks the music video debut for the new and current lineup of Ice Nine Kills. Rhythm guitarist Ricky Armolino did cameo in Stabbing in the Dark though, as the cop who got stabbed in the back. Meanwhile, bassist Joe Acuity composed the orchestral ending to Thank God It's Friday before he was ever an official part of the band. Finally, lead guitarist Dan Sugarman has a familial connection to horror. His uncle is Stu Charno, who played the unlikely survivor Ted in Friday the 13th Part 2.
When we were trying him out, obviously he was an amazing guitarist, but as soon as he told me that his uncle was in Friday the 13th Part 2, I wouldn't have cared if he could play, 2 chords. You're in.
The minecart ride sees 4 bodies on display along the track. 3 women, one of them played by Jessa Smith Campbell again, and one with a bag over its head, so who knows? It was a mannequin on set. Then Dr. Nancy Gladstone is spun around and killed when Spencer's face bursts from her abdomen? Wait, what? In a rarity for a kill, somehow the behind the scenes footage makes this even more horrifying to look at. That's all I'll count for kills though. Even though we see Georgie floating, we don't see him killed. He's just floating, man. They all float down there. See? After a low-budget start to these videos, this final entry sees the band getting some money to play with.
By the time we got to It Is the End, and we sort of had proven the concept to the label that, wow, these videos are actually like starting to make the band a lot more popular, they were willing to to fork over some real money towards the end.
Now they have the cash for stunt cables and green screen studios, and they definitely made the most of it. You can even hear them laughing out of joy from how good this all looks on set. The ride stuff was filmed at an amusement park called Canopy Lake Park in Salem, New Hampshire. Spencer loved filming there since he used to visit it as a high schooler from the nearby town of Swampscott. It Is the End is the most gimmicky song on the album, steeped in circus sounds, including little horns. And yet, it doesn't let that keep it from going pretty hard. Like most songs on the album, its chorus is an earworm, somehow bringing a bright, happy sound to a metal song about a killer clown. Spencer as Pennywise is probably my favorite horror cosplay he does. The makeup is great, and I think this character best matches his vocal performance.
You can trust me, sweet child.
And as a sax player, I'm always a fan of horns in my music, so I really dig Wasilewski's and Schaub's contributions. I couldn't believe it when Spencer let me join the band on stage to play this sax part at Silver Scream Con a few weeks ago. Fucking wild, man. The song ends and Spencer reveals himself as the man behind the grease paint to Dr. Black. He admits to all these murders that he's been describing as mere nightmares and says he's here to get revenge on Dr. Black. Dude's not only a shitty doctor, Spencer blames him for the death of his sister long ago.
I thought you killed them.
Of course not. I was 9. What are you, crazy?
Turns out back in 1994, Dr. Black got a guy named Floyd Schechter released from prison. The guy would go on to kill Spencer's sister and her friends, just like in the video for Stabbing in the Dark. Because of that, oh, and the whole trying to write a book about him thing, Spencer has already poisoned Dr. Black.
I woke you up and you had 30 minutes to live. About 30 minutes ago.
Spencer leaves as the poison takes over, and Roy Merkin returns in a broadcast to say that Dr. Black was indeed found dead, alongside a note purportedly written by him taking credit for all these kills, including his own. Spencer was the only survivor of the whole ordeal, and after something like that, well, you should probably get some therapy. That's why 3 weeks later, Spencer's already talking to another doctor. Hope this one fares a little better. Probably won't though. This video's closing news report is one of those cute ones with its own kill count.
A trail of over 25 bodies across 3 states.
Were they right with that count, or was it journalistic malpractice? Let's find out and
Get to the number now! Get to the number! Get to the number now!
I counted 27 kills in the music videos for the Silver Scream, so I guess that news report was accurate. The dead included 15 men, 10 women, and 2 unknown bodies. Can't really tell when they're in a bag, you know? The victims also included repeat defenders. I counted 2 kills each for drummer Patrick and guitarist JD, 3 kills each for bassist Justin, actress Jessa, and Spencer himself, and finally, Nadia took home the gold by getting killed 4 times across these 5 videos. Speaking of which, the kills averaged out to almost 5.5 per video. Not bad. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to prison guard Martinez. Great gore here. You know people get squeamish when it comes to eyeballs! Also, that makes Ricky Dean Logan a 2-time golden chainsaw winner. Congrats, dude! Double machete for lamest kill will actually go to the shape. I love that Nadia gets to dish out a kill for once, but I wish it were more on screen and bloodier. And that's it! Ice Nine Kills released the Silver Scream album in 2018 and followed it up with a sequel in 2021 called Welcome to Horrorwood. The videos for that album are even more elaborate, and the final one drops in a couple of weeks on October 13th. After it does, I'll probably kill count that series too. But until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been the Kill Count. Thanks a lot for watching this Kill Count for the Silver Scream music videos by Ice Nine Kills. I'm filming this the week before Chelsea and I go to Silver Scream Con, so I'm hoping that the to the numbers thing worked out, whatever it was. It was a lot of fun writing this video and doing the research for it. A lot of it involved me looking up Ice Nine Kills in metal spaces, and I'm just so happy for Spencer. It seems like everyone, regardless of if they're into the music or not, really respects him as a guy who's just been at it for 2 decades. I'm just so proud of him and all that he's accomplished, and I wish him the best, for real. I mean, him and Nadia come over here to watch wrestling pay-per-views with us, even though, like, they never watched wrestling before. But they are rightfully into Rhea Ripley. I mean, how can you not be? I want to thank some patrons like Gilly0821, Mr. Flufftastic, Nolan Dumas, Amber Vandiver, Daniel Davis, and Flavio Zamudio. That's an awesome name. Thanks everyone. Be good people.